We know the government watches us, but what about when government surveillance changes the course of history? In the 1960s, the US government started a program called C0int3lpr0, or the Counterintelligence Program. The program was a series of secret FBI initiatives targeting activists, political, and minority groups. The American Indian Movement, the Black Panthers, Martin Luther King, women's and civil rights groups, Vietnam War protesters, and anyone who got the government seeing red. Tactics used included infiltration and surveying and discrediting leaders and causes in order to undermine entire movements and organizations. But a lot of what C0int3lpr0 did was illegal, and it was officially disbanded in 1971. Though if you ask many activist groups and political dissidents, it still exists, just in another form.
Shalom. All praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh Ba'asham Yahawashai, Ba'asham Racha Kwadash. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of the great millstone, and salutations to all you sincere Akim. And this is your brother Bawan, back again with another video through the spirit and power of Yahweh Ba'asham Yahawashai, Ba'asham Racha Kwadash. All praises and glory is due. And yeah, we're back at it. And what I wanted to go into, as you saw at the beginning video, is C0int3lpr0, right? Which is basically a FBI operation that ran throughout the 50s and the 60s. And what it was made for, primarily what it was used for, was to derail the Jake during that time when Jake was in the civil rights era. And that is just to show you the practices that Esau Edom employs in order to basically break apart, rise different organizations over the years, right? So let me just go into this a little bit. And before I do that, I just quickly want to get a precept, okay? For we are not ignorant of Satan's devices. So this is the book of 2 Corinthians chapter 2, verse 11. Lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. And that's the reason why I even wanted to do a video on this C0int3lpr0, because you have different tactics that Esau Edom is using, and different black ops operations that Esau Edom performed all throughout the years that were slowly confirmed and declassified. And this is when I wanted to really go into the MK Ultras, right? The fake moon landing, the so like I'm trying to think of another one, project, it's not Project Bluebeam, but the UFOs as well, and the chariots basically. And you have these different the Pandora Papers, yeah, where they confirm the assassination of that it was NATO and the Clintons that set up the assassination of Gaddafi. So yeah, you have these different documents that eventually become declassified that show you, okay, and also the war in Iraq and how it was a psyop, okay. All these different documents and information that becomes declassified that shows the operations of Esau Edom all over the earth. And I believe the term they use is clandestine, okay, clandestine. And I'm going to get the definition of that word clandestine, right? Clandestine definition. And here I can already know I'm going to use the Merriam-Webster to get the formal definition. Right, so we already know how Esau Edom operates, okay, as it is written that through unrighteous dealings, injuries, and riches got by deceit, the kingdom is translated from one people to another. And this is the same method that Esau Edom uses to basically destroy any uprisings or any organizations that may be a threat to his kingdom. And the same thing, the same operation, the same tactics are being used today against this truth, against the Hebrew Israelites. So this is the definition of clandestine: marked by, held in, or conducted with secrecy. That is the definition of clandestine. In other words, secrecy. That's how you have these secret organizations, secret intelligence groups, and so on and so forth. So yeah, this is C0int3lpr0, United States government program, also known as Counterintelligence Program. COINTELPRO counterintelligence program conducted by the Federal Bureau of Investigation from 1956 to 1971 to discredit and neutralize organizations considered subversive to US political stability. And that definition alone already gives you enough reason or enough understanding for why I'm doing this video, because basically what I'm trying to say is this: the counterintelligence programs that Esau Edom practices or uses, right? They did not end in 1971, like this article claims. That Esau Edom is still practicing is still using all these counterintelligence programs against the men of the Lord, against this truth. So beware of agents. That's basically the title of this video. Because these things are still very much in operation, and there are still very much many of the and these tactics are still being used. Okay, and I want to continue going into what this COINTELPRO is, but basically Esau Edom infiltrated different organizations over the years, used their own paid agents. That's why you constantly hear about the elders and the apostles talking about, oh, this guy might be an agent, this guy might be set up, this guy might be, set up by Esau Edom, because these are the tactics that he uses, and it's already on record. You can look it up yourself. You can do a deeper dive into COINTELPRO. These things, when the apostles and the elders say, they're not making it up. They're not bringing it out of thin air. There is precedence, okay, precedence for the fact that these things have already happened. That Esau Edom did it and continues to do it. Okay, so continuing on. It was covert, clandestine, and often used extra-legal means to criminalize various forms of political struggle and derail social movements such as those for civil rights and Puerto Rican independence. Right, and the what popularized this COINTELPRO was the fact that it was used heavily on civil rights movements during the civil rights era, which is basically from the 50s to the 70s. Right, you see the connection now. That's the reason why this COINTELPRO even became popular, because it was now put on record that the FBI sent so many agents into various civil rights groups at the time, the Black Panthers, Martin Luther King, and the like. Okay, and that was for them then during that time. And these same things are still being done in this truth as well. Expect Esau Edom to send out agents, right? These alphabet organizations that are government run, to send out agents in those, or to place agents in various camps, to place agents in this truth as well. And that is exactly what this COINTELPRO is, okay? Because the actual term COINTELPRO, it might not be still be practiced, but the counterintelligence tactics that were used in the COINTELPRO is still being practiced. So continuing on. COINTELPRO operations were initiated against various organizations, including the Communist Party, Socialist Workers' Party, SWP, Puerto Rican Nationalist Party, Black Panther Party, American Indian Movement, Southern Christian Leadership Conference, and Ku Klux Klan. And you see the tactics they use. They infiltrated multiple organizations to monitor them, right, in order to find out information about what they are doing, and how to set them up, derail them, you know, different tactics that they use to either, to either destroy from the organization from the inside internally, or to just straight up label them a terrorist criminal group and throw them one side. Case in point, what the SPLC and that's the Southern Poverty Law Center and the Anti-Defamation League have done concerning these truths. The label of the so-called Black Hebrew Israelites. You see the tactics that Esau Edom uses, and that is why we heavily suspect that vocab Malone to be set up by these individuals. Okay, and of course, he's not the only one. You have many more agents that are in this truth, which are scattered across the camps, and all this inform, and you can't really say, oh well, this person is an agent for sure. This person was set up for sure, because the purpose of these counterintelligence operations and the agents that are and the agents that are used by them, is that the term I want to use? But basically the agents that work under it is that they are supposed to infiltrate in secret, monitor the organization, bring back information, right? In order to, in order for these or Esau Edom, right, and the elites of Esau Edom to better understand the operations and the workings, the going in and ins and outs of these organizations. So let me get another precept, okay? Because even the scriptures tells you that there are different men that have been, as it's written, crept in unawares. So this is the book of Jude 1, verse 4. For there are certain men crept in unawares, who were before of old ordained to this condemnation, ungodly men, turning the grace of our power into lasciviousness, and denying the only Lord power and our Lord Hamashiach Yahawashai. Right, because you have various, not everybody, ultimately, not everybody that is in this truth is of the elect. We already know that. And at the end of the day, it is up to the Spirit of the Most High, Yahweh Hashem Yahweh, to sift the elect, the sheep, from the, the sheep, to sift the elect, right? To separate the sheep from the goats, right? To separate the one third from the rest of our people. And you already know what happens to those that are not of the elect. So let me get that precept. Let me get that precept. Let me go to that. So you have to just bear with me. Let me just cue that precept up. So this is the book of Matthew 13, verse 24. Another parable put he forth unto them, saying, the kingdom of heaven is likened unto a man which soweth good seed in his field. But while men slept, his enemy came and sowed tares among the wheat and went his way. Right. And of course, at the end of this precept, it explains what this parable is going into and what this parable means, because you should already know that when Allah Yahweh uses a parable, it's not the actual event or a story that happened, but rather it is just the analogy for something else. Okay, so basically you have the enemy, which is, of course, the enemy is this devil, Satan, Esau Edom, the so-called red man that is currently ruling over the earth. And he had sowed tears. In other words, the two-third agents, the two-third bug outs, fallout, the crash outs that are in this truth, in the midst of the wheat, which are the one-third of the elect. Lord willing, will be a part of that number. While and continuing on, Matthew 13, verse 26. But when the blade was sprung up and brought forth fruit, then appeared the tares also. So the servants of the householder came and said unto him, Sir, didst thou not sow good seed in thy field? From whence then hath it tares? He said unto them, An enemy hath done this. The servant said unto him, Wilt thou then that we go and gather them up? Right, so eventually the tares and the wheat, they grow together up until, let me just continue reading. Let me just continue reading. Matthew 13, verse 29. But he said, Nay, lest while ye gather up the tares, ye root up also the wheat with them. Let both grow together until the harvest. And in the time of harvest, I will say to the reapers, Gather ye together first the tares and bind them in bundles to burn them, but gather the wheat into my barn. Right. And the parable should have actually been, okay, yeah, it is. So jumping down a little bit to the explanation of this parable I just read, Matthew 13, verse 36. Then Yahushua sent the multitude away and went into the house, and his disciples came and said unto him, saying, Declare unto us the parable of the tares of the field. He answered and said unto them, He that soweth the good seed is the Son of Man. So that's Allah Yahweh. The field is the world. That is, let's go into this word, because I believe the word should either be cosmos or aeon. And so, like, you have to bear with me. Slow network as usual. And the word here is cosmos, of course. And what this cosmos refers to, you can already know the orderly arrangement, the world of Israel. So even when Elijah Hawashai was bringing out this parable, well, he wasn't talking about everybody. He wasn't talking about the whole world, that, oh, the wheat and the tares are the whole world. In other words, the whole peoples and multitudes and tongues. No, he was talking about only within the nation of Israel, that there will be tares among our people, right? And you already know that there's a difference between the tares. Those are the carnal, fleshly tares and the spiritual tares, which of course refers to those that may look like so-called Negroes, look like so-called Latinos, look like so-called Native American Indians, but their nationality, according to their bloodline, according to their fathers, are of another nation. And you just have Israelites, so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians, or scattered Israelites that are scattered throughout the four corners of the earth that are not of the elect. And those are the two type of tiers that we have in this truth. And of course, Esau Edom, for his counterintelligence operations, will employ both kinds. So you have, you know, Edomites that may look like Jake in this truth. You might have Jakes that are just straight up demons, straight up two thirds. Okay, but continuing on. So Matthew 13, verse 38. The field is the world. The good seed are the children of the kingdom, that is the elect. But the tares are the children of the wicked one. That's once again the agents of Esau, Edom, right? The bug out, the two thirds that are outside of this truth. The enemy that sowed them is the devil. The harvest is the end of the world, and the reapers are the angels. As therefore the tares are gathered and burned in the fire, so shall it be in the end of this world. The Son of Man shall send forth his angels, and they shall gather out of his kingdom all things that offend and them which do iniquity. Right. And that's why, we aren't really stressed. When I'm not really stressed, and Yaki, I'm not really stressed in this truth about all these agents that are being set up, because as it is written, and let's get that precept as well, that first and foremost you can do nothing. I think that's actually, you can do nothing against the truth. I'm forgetting how that precept goes, but let me just search for it anyway. Here it is. So this is the book of 2 Corinthians 13, verse 8. For we can do nothing against the truth, but for the truth. And also, let me go to the book of Acts, where it says that if this counsel or this work be of men, it will come to naught. But if it be of the Most High, Yahweh Basham Yahshai, right, it will succeed. So let's get this precept. So this is the book of Acts 5, verse 38. And now I say unto you, refrain from these men and let them alone. For if this counsel or this work be of men, it will come to naught. But if it be of the Most High, Yahweh Basham Yahshai, ye cannot overthrow it, lest haply ye be found to even to fight against the Most High. Right. And that's why, I'm not really bothered about these agents, because ultimately, man, these agents are going to do what they're going to do. After all, it's not written. We're not ignorant of Satan's devices. We already know how it's going to go. We already know how it's going to be. The agents are going to do what they got to do. And if it is in the will of the Heavenly Father, that the Heavenly Father, as the agents that have been set up, right, and Esau's counterintelligence operations against this truth should succeed. It will succeed if it is, but ultimately, right, we already know the end of this matter. Okay, because when Esau Edom first used this Cointel Pro against the Black Panthers, against the civil rights um, leaders and um, organizations of that time, he succeeded. He dismantled them. He derailed their efforts. Okay, but when it comes to this truth, ultimately, even if this even if he gathers brothers and puts them in female camps, even if brothers get put in female camps, brothers get ultimately martyred for this truth, it is still not for to Esau's benefit, right? There is no situation, there is no play that Esau can run that will give him the victory, because ultimately we already have that victory. So Agents can come in, they can't do anything against this truth. That's just basically what I'm trying to say. They can't change or throw off or affect the momentum of this truth of prophecy. Okay. And I want to read a little bit more. So let me just do that. Let me just read a little bit more, then I'll close out. Let me see if the spirit just jumps on me to get a few more precepts. Tactics included surveillance, organizational infiltration, anonymous mailings, and police harassment. And that police harassment reminds me of, the apostles always talk about how during 9/11 that they were all of them were arrested, okay, during 9/11 because of what happened during 9/11, right? Because they had the school and everything at that time, if I recall correctly. So continuing on, these programs were exposed in 1971 when the Citizens Commission to investigate the FBI burglarized an FBI office in Media, Pennsylvania, stole confidential files, and then released them to the press. More information regarding COINTELPRO was later obtained through the Freedom of Information Act lawsuits lodged against the FBI by the BPP and the SWP, and statements by agents who came forward to confess their counterintelligence activities. Right, so eventually Esau Edom got exposed for their acts, as it is written. Right, so I can do nothing against the truth but for it, and it came to light eventually the tactics that Esau Edom used during that time. And what I am saying is that these tactics are still being used to this day, and it's being used against us in this truth. But Yakem already knew that. But yeah, let me just end the video right here. Let me end the video right here. Once again, all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh Ba'asham Yahawashai Ba'asham Rakakwadash Wa